Do you have trouble finishing assignments or tasks?
Yeah, like all the time.
Do you find yourself losing focus whenever someone's presenting something or the teacher's giving a lesson?
Yeah.
Do you get easily frustrated with yourself?
I think everyone that knows me knows that I'm just a frustrated person.
I don't even know why I asked that.
These questions are just so obvious.
Do you have nervous tics? Do you have trouble sitting still for long periods of time?
No. Yeah.
Well, based on these results, all I have to say is, Bunny!
Hi, I'm Pierce.
And I'm Landon.
And we're here to give you the truth about ADD and clear up some of the misconceptions that people have, like sugar can cause ADD in kids.
Yeah, and ADD also comes from poor parenting.
Yeah, and ADD causes stunted growth.
And ADD causes cannibalism.
First, let's start off with what is ADD?
Ooh, I know!
Landon!
ADD is attention deficit disorder.
Being diagnosed with ADD think it could be the end of the road for them, when really it's just opening up a brand new window of opportunity.
The creativity of ADD can take people to new heights. Some popular stars with ADD include Terry Bradshaw, Jim Carrey, Ryan Gosling, and even Paris Hilton.
I can explain ADD to you is by saying it's like I'm on a cliff, on a mountain, and I can just see everything and anything, the most beautiful things people can't even fathom, but at any time you could fall off that cliff. You're on.
I was born in South Frisco in a really rough neighborhood, and I wasn't like any other kids. I could solve any science or math problem that was given to me, but because of that rough background, I never got to realize my full potential, and so I became a janitor at a really prestigious college, and it was then people started to realize my full potential, and they knew I needed help, so I visited a bunch of psychiatrists, one after the other, but then I met a man named Sean McGuire, and he diagnosed me with attention deficit disorder.
Let's move on to what are some symptoms of ADD.
So how did I get ADD, gosh darn it?
Glad you asked. ADD is a neurological disorder, so it just happens in your brain. But ADD is highly hereditary. It's even more genetic than diabetes.
Diabetes?
Diabetes!
Diabetes.
Diabetes.
Well, how many people have ADD since it's so genetic?
Well, how many people do you think have ADD?
Well, according to everybody I talked to at Frisco Liberty High School, everybody seems to have it. It's like Oprah on her birthday. It's like, you have ADD, you have diabetes, you have ADD, you have ADD, everybody has ADD.
Actually, Landon, only 5 to 8% of the population has ADD.
Then how do you know you have ADD?
Well, Landon, you'd have to get a professional diagnosis to know that one. But that's where it gets tricky. Because there's no one clear symptom for ADD, unlike a bunch of other disorders and diseases, such as diabetes.
Well, then what kind of symptoms are there?
Well, they're measured on 3 main categories, which is inattention, hyperactivity, and overall impulsivity. However, there's lots of subtypes. I can't name all of them right now, so I'm just not even gonna try. There's so many.
Just name one. Bunny!
Well, baby bunny wanted a wop. A wops. Look, it's a wops. Landon, stop it, the wops. I'm gonna kill
I don't see wops.
it. Dude, it's freaking right there. Other symptoms include inconsistency, poor time management control, impatient, overly talkative, interrupts, poor anger management, stop laughing, poor money management, diabetes, poor driving, impulsive, overeating, anxiety and depression, addiction or avoidance, overly talkative, daydreamy, restless, a lot of motor function, bankruptcy, inattentive, overly talkative, impatient, overeating, diabetes.
Okay.
Commissioner. Kids with ADD are also more prone to having other learning disabilities.
You're telling me ADD Brians are more prone to discrimination?
Dyslexia.
Oh, you don't say.
One big problem people with ADD have is with focusing. And it's not that people with ADD can't focus, it's that they have trouble deciding exactly what to focus on. They can't voluntarily control their focus, as well as they can focus just not always on the right thing at the right time. Let's talk about the different aspects of focusing. The first one is knowing what to focus on.
Hi, I'm Landon Renner, and I'm living with attention deficit disorder. Focusing is one of the hardest aspects for me. For example, my mom would tell me to go clean my room, so I'd start cleaning a little bit, then I'd get a text message. I respond to said text message, but then I realized, hey, I need to make a phone call. So I make the phone call, and then I see an email about soccer, and then I realize, hey, I need to go practice soccer. I start practicing soccer for a while, but then I realize I'm not in shape enough to play soccer, so I go run 2 miles, and then I come back, and I realize my room still isn't clean. So I can do all these tasks, but I can't do the one task I was supposed to do.
Another aspect of focusing is what's called hyperfocusing, and that's when something is so stimulating that your brain physically can't take away from it, and you can't get separated from that stimulant. You see, he's stuck like this. The TV is just too much for his poor brain to handle. Landon, dude, snap out of it. We gotta do a project. You've just been sitting here. The third aspect is shifting focus. People with ADD have trouble shifting focus because they're so focused on one thing that their brain having to be forced to shift to another topic is so strenuous because they're having that much trouble focusing on that one topic already. Don't worry, there's only like 5 sections in there. If you have some of these symptoms, the best thing to do is go and get checked out by a professional. A professional being a doctor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and the worst thing you can do is self-diagnose. And that's for those of you out there, not naming any names, but for those of you who think that looking at your phone on occasion in class is ADD, it's not. The best way I can put it is that people with ADD, it's like their brains are on channel surfing mode. And so you have all these things scrolling by, but they can't stop and elaborate just on one thing. Everything just keeps flying by.
In their mind.
The best way to get diagnosed is to consult a professional. Let them know your medical history and your psychiatric history. And also, try to form a relationship with your doctor or psychiatrist if you so choose. And let them get to know your family members as well so you can get properly diagnosed to see if you have this disorder.